Santino Lukika Tandu. At defender, a junior from Washington Crossing, Pennsylvania, number 2, Joe Anderson. At defender, a senior from Decatur, Georgia, number 4, Tijan Borshors. At midfield, a junior from East Amherst, New York, number 6, Tyler Moran. At midfield, a junior from Litchfield, Connecticut, number 9, Charlie Shanks. At forward, a graduate student from Portage, Michigan, number 11, Colin Canning. At midfield, a junior from Fairport, New York, number 14, Nick Swanger. At midfield, a senior from Westport, Connecticut, number 15, F.A. Eldon. At defender, a senior from Glastonbury, Connecticut, number 19, Matt Cosentino. At midfield, a sophomore from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, number 20, Nate Lazara. And at defender, a first year from San Francisco, California, number 27, Cole Basic. The Yellow Jackets are coached by Chris Apple, who's assisted by Sean Streb and Ben Stein. And starting for the Targets. At goalkeeper, a freshman from Sammamish, Washington, number 0, Liam Ryan. At midfield, a senior from Armonk, New York, number 2, Tyler Hart. At forward, a senior from Boynton Beach, Florida, number 4, Josh Baugh. At midfield, a senior from Morgantown, West Virginia, number 5, Mason Shockley. At defender, a senior from Libertyville, Illinois, number 7, Jason Edmonds. At defender, a senior from Lake Forest, Illinois, number 8, Dante Mancini. At forward, a junior from Herndon, Virginia, number 9, Ethan Bertall. At midfield, a senior from Fairfax, Virginia, number 10, Kieran Sarvapalli. At defender, a junior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, number 14, Diederik Schlingemann. At midfield, a junior from West Windsor, New Jersey, number 17, Luke Merolda. And at forward, a sophomore from Greenwich, Connecticut, number 29, Jake Cavan. The Tartans are coached by Brandon Bowman, who is assisted by Ross Macklin and Stephen Rarick. Today's officials are Ryan Maines, Mark Sikora, and Justin Parnizka. Would you please now rise a fable and honor America for the playing of our national anthem? Ladies and gentlemen, Carnegie Mellon University of Rochester and members of the University Athletic Association are committed to principles of good sportsmanship. We believe that all student athletes, coaches, and spectators should strive to represent the very best spirit and tradition of intercollegiate athletics. We request your cooperation by supporting the
Good morning, everyone, and welcome in here to Carnegie Mellon University on a beautiful Sunday morning here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for some Carnegie Mellon University men's soccer, as this event is streaming live through the Carnegie Mellon University Athletics website. Again, everyone, good morning and welcome into the broadcasting booth alongside the great Bob Orquist. Jack Ryde and I are here with you all today. And Bob, I know you and I were on hand for the men's match for Carnegie Mellon on Friday, where they were able to take down Emory in a much-needed win for a team that has been struggling as of late. Prior to the win against Emory, they had lost 3 of their previous 4 matches, so a team that really needed to get back into the winning ways, to say the least. And then you look over for Rochester, the team that is traveling here today to take on Carnegie Mellon, and they're coming off a loss to Case Western, and it was a very big struggle offensively for Rochester. It was a season low in shots for them in 4, and a second lowest amount of shots on goal for them in a match with 2. So again, a very kind of, I would say, deliberate possession style of play for Rochester, going up against a very good defensive team in Carnegie Mellon. And not to mention, Bob, we've got the NCAA tournament right around the corner, and these teams, if they want to make a case for having their at-large bid being heard, they have to be able to perform here today on this field.
Yeah, good to be alongside and good to be with everyone this morning. A beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Oakland, in the Oakland section of the city of Pittsburgh. For Rochester, they come in 2 straight losses now. Prior to that, they lost to Alvernia. So 0-2-1 in their last 3 since beating Brandeis. A really chippy game Friday at Case Western Reserve. There were 5 cards handed out to the Yellow Jackets in that one. They've done pretty well away from home, though, to look at it. 3-2-2, that's a pretty fair home record. But you look at the away record, excuse me, look at the home record. We talked about it on Friday when we had the broadcast. You want to defend the home pitch. 5 wins in 6 games here for Carnegie Mellon. Maybe tougher than expected, but a good result against Emory on Friday, because that was a tough match. Emory played very well, but Carnegie Mellon came away with the victory in that one. Jake Cavan, who's in the starting lineup at the goal. Billy Bukavalis had the game winner, and in goal, Liam Ryan, 6 saves to get that victory for the Tartans.
And you look over at Rochester, sitting at 6-4-4 overall, 1-2-2 in the UAA. And then, like we said, Carnegie Mellon 9-3-1 overall, 1-3 in the UAA. And they have been tremendous, to say the least, here at home. 4-1 on home turf. As we see a ball sent down into the Tartans' territory, and it's dropped back for Ryan to handle. We'll look at the starting lineups here, and we'll start with the visitors. In goal for Rochester, number 0, Santino Lupica Tondu. And then number 2, Joe Anderson. 4, Tijan Borchers. 6, Tyler Moran. 9, Charlie Shanks. 11, Colin Canning. 14, Nick Swanger. 15, F.A. Eldon. 19, Matt Cosentino. 20, Nate Lazara. And 27, Cole Bassick. And Bob, why don't you rattle off the Carnegie Mellon starters for everyone at home?
We've got Liam Ryan, the freshman, in the goal. To our right, Tyler Harp, the senior, in the starting lineup. 6 seniors all starting today. Josh Ball is in there as well. Mason Shockley gets the start. He's another one of the seniors. Jason Edmonds, Dante Mancini, Ethan Vertal, Kieran Sarvapoli, Diedrich Slingerman, Luke Moraldo, who I thought played really well on Friday off the bench, and Jake Cavan, who had that goal, as I mentioned. There's your starting 11 for CMU. And in a second here, I'll give you the numbers on the starting keepers today.
And a collision on the far side of the field, issuing a whistle, and it looks like it's coming against Rochester, as Kieran Sarvapoli on the far side of the field was tripped up.
F.A. Eldon flagged and whistled for that foul, so a free kick for CMU just inside the far touchline for Josh Ball, one of those seniors that we'll talk about. 6 seniors on either side. They were all recognized prior to this match on senior day. It'll soon be day, senior morning right now, with this 11 o'clock kickoff.
Here's Ball with the free kick, sends a good ball in play. Vertal off the edge of his foot, and it goes just wide right of the goal. Great job by Lupica Tondu to make sure that did not go past him. But you got to love that free position shot there coming from Ball.
Also a good, that's good service and a good defensive play by Matt Cosentino, the senior defender for Rochester. He got a piece of that, and then Lupica Tondu turned it into a corner.
Here's a corner from Ball. Goes a little far of the box. And then it is almost cleared away there by number 9, Charlie Shanks for Rochester. But Carnegie Mellon able to maintain possession. Here's a good turn here by Vertal. Vertal working down on the far side of the field, on the near side, I should say. It was good defense there by number 19, Matt Cosentino.
Again, Cosentino with the play. He's shielding him off. That's a good job, the way to use your body. Always been very impressed. Again, we were here just Friday, so just 2 days ago. 1.5 to be more exact. But the camaraderie is evident, and you can see it on senior day. And always when you have senior day or senior night, you always want to perform better when you're one of the underclassmen for your graduating teammates. So you can see it. You can definitely tell the camaraderie. And soccer players are of a different ilk. So fantastic stuff. In the pregame, if you were tuned in ahead of time, you Heard Andrea James take care of the pregame and the senior recognition here at CMU. Goaltending-wise, Liam Ryan mentioned the freshman. He's in the right. He's well accoutramented today. Went with the all black with the red highlights, so fitting right in with the Keller scheme for Carnegie Mellon. This is his 15th game and his 15th start. He's played over 1,100 minutes. His goals against average .097. That's fantastic. He's got 37 saves, a .755. Goals against average 9-3-1 with 3 shutouts on the year for Liam Ryan. I'll tell you a little bit more about Lupika Tondo here in a second.
Moralda sends one into the box, walled up and kicked away by Tajan Borchers. I want to correct myself there, Bob. I had mentioned that CMU is 9-3-1. They're actually 10-3-1 after their win on Friday, 2-3 in the UAA. So give them that extra victory as no whistle is blown, and it looks to be a corner kick set up for Rochester.
Pretty good defensive play by Moralda, and he was petitioning, but he thought the ball went off of Charlie Shanks. So we had a corner and a free kick earlier for Carnegie Mellon. We're just in the 5th minute of play. And Rochester, the Jackets are going to get a corner to our right at the near flag.
Cole Bassick will have the honors. Bassick with 2 goals on the year, 8 total shots for the freshman defender. 4 of those 8 shots coming on goal. It looks like it's actually a throw-in, so no corner, but a very deep throw-in coming from Bassick.
Yeah, it is a throw. That's a pretty good throw from Bassick, too. Almost worked as a corner.
Great job by the defense, in particular Mancini, Dante Mancini, that is, for Carnegie Mellon to clear that ball away, but Rochester still trying to apply some pressure here in the attacking third.
For the Yellow Jackets, Santino Lupika Tondo. He's played every minute of every game. This is his 15th start of the year, so he'll go over 1,300 minutes on the season. Still out 12 goals. His GAA is good, too, at .086. He's got 46 saves and a .793 percentage, so that's a good number, too. 6 shutouts, 6-4-4. He was 7-4-4 last year, so he's looking for a result today to match that. And then with 1 game left on the slate for the Yellow Jackets to try to better that, as their last match will be next Saturday against Emory. They have to travel down to Atlanta for that one.
Lupika Tondo, actually one of the players from Rochester's team a year ago that was named to the All-UAA teams. He was an honorable mention. Nick Swanger, who is back on the team this year, he was a second-team selection. And then Will Eisold was a first-team selection for a Rochester team that a year ago finished 9-4-4 overall, 3-3-1 in the UAA. They were tremendous on home turf, Bob, 7-1-1. They did struggle on the road, 2-2-3. However, they were able to qualify for the Division III NCAA tournament. However, they fell in the first round last year to Calvin University 4-0. It was their 6th straight tournament appearance. So this is a program in Rochester that has been very strong as of recently.
Yeah, and these players, they've known nothing but qualifying for the tournament. So that's why they're looking for a better result today than their loss on Friday. You also mentioned Lupika Tondo. He was part of the UAA all-academic team as well last year.
Good pressure the far side of the field by Tyler Harp. Harp, one of the seniors that was honored today for Senior Day at Carnegie Mellon University. Bob and I think, Bob, I don't want to speak for you, but I think we can both agree some very impressive individuals on both teams, especially Carnegie Mellon, hearing all of the things that they will be doing in their post-playing and post-academic careers. Very impressive stuff as we have a corner getting set up here for Rochester. Joe Anderson, the junior, will have the honors. Anderson sends in, and it's headed off the head of Bassick as he was able to set up well on that near post, but just could not angle it over towards Ryan. So no goal there.
Excuse me. So you found the guy just too far, but we talked about it on Friday. You see those players, even though Bassick is a defender, 6'3". So you like those tall guys, those tall players, or those tall girls, in the case later on when we bring you the women's match to leak up. They did. They found him, but it was just wide of the near post.
This sets up a throw-in for Rochester. And you look at how CMU performed a year ago. They've already increased their win total in just a year by 3 total wins. Last year finished the year 7-6-1 overall. They struggled in the UAA, 1-5-1. But for people that are not aware of the talent that the UAA has, and quite frankly, not just in soccer, but really all sports, I would say. You go back even yesterday when we were having volleyballs. We have a little run here coming from Charlie Shanks, sends that one into the box, and it's deflected away by Carnegie Mellon. Now it's sent far post for Colin Canning to try and leverage in, but couldn't do so, and sets up a goal kick here for Ryan. But as I was saying, people aren't aware, and even going back to yesterday in volleyball when we covered volleyball for Carnegie Mellon, I mean, the amount of talent that's in the conference for volleyball is just impressive. And so these teams are playing a very, very strong schedule, and as a result, I think that the selection committee for the NCAA tournament, when they are making their decision, they do look at that, and they do account for the fact that these teams from the UAA, they're playing a very, very tough schedule.
That's one of the things that the Tartans are hanging their hat on. Their strength of schedule is way up there. They've got some quality wins. They've also got double-digit wins now with 10. So I think those things stick out. If the committee is truly looking at the things they should be looking at, we talked a little bit about that on Friday. Sometimes you look at what committees do, and you're like, yeah, I get that. Other times the heads are being scratched, but it is what it is. It's not an enviable position at times being a committee member.
There's Moran, fires one off the heel of Schlingeman, and then Edmonds with the bicycle clear. Couldn't clear far enough.
Schlingeman will take that, Jack. He gets credited for a block. I think he was running to get in position and actually hit his leg. So we'll credit him with the block. And there's a play and a clean play on the bounce by Liam Ryan. We talked about Tyler Harp earlier, one of the 6 seniors. He's got a 4.0 GPA in mechanical engineering. And this is his 5th year, 9 games as a freshman. 2-year starter for Tyler Harp in the back line for the Tartans.
Tyler Harp with 1 career goal, and it was in dramatic fashion, a game winner back in 2021 against Point Park. As Carnegie Mellon looking to direct traffic here, Harp with it now. Harp also a 2-year starter for this Tartans team. Edmonds now operating on the far side of the field. Ball being pressured heavily by Nick Swanger, a reigning all-UAA performer from a year ago. Here's Sarvapalli trying to serve it for Vertal, but then it comes back out to the foot of from Sarvapalli. Here's Marolda, and Marolda chips it high in the air. In comes Cavan, and whistles are blown, and it looks like it's coming against Carnegie Mellon.
That's a good call. Cavan was going after the air ball and just got too aggressive. Marolda, I think, would like to have that back. He had the right idea on the left side of the box to serve it back over, but he didn't get the correct hit. One of the defenders is down for Rochester. I want to point out Tejan Borchers, the senior defender. He made a nice sliding tackle at the beginning of this opportunity for Carnegie Mellon. And then Cavan collided in the air. Rochester player seems to be okay. It is actually Cole Bassick. We called his name several times today. Looks to be shaken up, getting attended to, but looks like he will remain in the game.
34-22 to play in this opening half. 1 corner already for Rochester and 1 for Carnegie Mellon.
Bassick, just the freshman, just real quickly. Tony Heipscher. Tejan Borchers, who we just talked about. Andrew Maglianesi, F.A. Eldon. Shrey Paramu, and Matt Cosentino. Those are the starters. I believe Nate Lazar also a senior. Those are the 6 seniors that Carnegie Mellon did a good job to recognize them as well before this match. We'll talk further about the rest of the CMU seniors. Good to honor them for not only their fantastic job on the pitch, but outstanding stuff in the classroom as well.
Rochester in a hurry trying to move it downfield. Good pressure defensively by Carnegie Mellon as Mancini chips it back downfield. It looks like we're getting a stoppage here.
Then why are you stopping? Let's play! Don't listen to him, just play! We're playing! The stuff should have been sorted earlier. Let's play!
Chris Apple you can hear that, obviously, what's going on, and then Coach Bowman.
There seems to have been a little confusion with Bassick since Bassick's injury was a head injury, and I believe Rochester's head coach Chris Apple is arguing that because it is a head injury that they are allowed a free sub.
Substitution. You see, not only are we right in the action, you're right on top of the action with us right here.
Absolutely.
At midfield. You can definitely tell what was going on there. It's all sorted out, and everything's good here in the 12th minute of play. Bassick is back on, too, which is the best piece of information out of that sequence.
Headed out of play by Charlie Shanks. Sets up a throw in here for Carnegie Mellon.
Nate Lazaro talked about, who's in the starting lineup. Not one of the seniors, by the way, but it's a homecoming for Nate. So he played at Fox Chapel area, not too far from here, a few miles
Colin
north.
Canning sends a firing shot right on goal into the chest of Liam Ryan. Beautiful save by the freshman, Liam Ryan. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Bob.
No, it had to. That's a great shot, a great step into that by Canning to fire that. But what we saw this Friday, too, Ryan tracks it well, and he tracked that well, and he stood his line. You know, sometimes keepers can get jittery. I understand that. But Ryan, perfect there. He read it, and the other key to that, Jack, he receives it cleanly. So you talk about when we do ice hockey, rebound control, also very important here in this sport. So first save of the game registered by Liam Ryan.
Ryan playing in all 14 games this year for the Tartans in goal. He's picked up 10 wins as a freshman, so I'm sure that makes Coach Bowman a very happy man, knowing that the question mark of goalkeeping is not going to need to be addressed for the next few years with the impressive play of Ryan as Mancini sends that one out of play.
It's pretty good. I want to finish up two thoughts. One on my thought on Nate Lazar, by the way, Fox Chapel. So the sophomore, he was a two-time captain for the Foxes, and his sister Greta is playing soccer at Case Western Reserve. So he was 14 games played last year, 6 goals. Had a goal and assist in the NCAA tournament.
Brennan Schoenwetter checks in for Carnegie Mellon, taking out Mason Shockley. And we mentioned Shockley, one of the other seniors that was honored today.
Yeah, he's from Morgantown. Mason Shockley is. 42 games, 2 career goals. He is a chemistry major. He's also one of the 4.0 students, and he's got to head to medical school after graduating from Carnegie Mellon.
Vertal sends a chip shot in for Lupika Tondu to handle easily.
And the other thought I wanted to talk about is you make a great point, because before we started doing this, the UAA, so before I started, that team, I've read about them. Washington is, in football, they're great, or New York University or Rochester University here. And then you realize they're in the UAA playing against Carnegie Mellon. So that's the bonus for me outside of being in this position as a sports fan, is seeing those teams that you recognize and then realize they're in this conference and how good this conference is. So I just wanted to expound on that point. And we're going to foul whistle against Tyler Moran as he takes Sarvapalli down. And this is a pretty good position for a free kick for the Tartans, right in the middle of the field, about 30 out.
Sarvapalli twisting and turning, trying to find some sort of room there. Great footwork by Sarvapalli. Senior with 2 goals this year. Picked up his first assist on the season as well on Friday. In the 2-1 win over Emory.
Who gets this? Meralda, Baugh, or Vertal? Pick your poison. Looks like it might be an indirect free kick, so you could get a touch and then a strike.
All players that are very versatile, big-time playmakers. A little tap around, and Baugh fires it into the defense for Rochester as the big Yellow Jacket wall is able to defend that shot away.
That was Joe Anderson. He did a good job to step up. So you saw the 2 touches, actually. So indirect, 1 touch. So that's what the 3 were discussing. 1 touch, and then they sort of set it up, and it was well struck, but Anderson got there. A lot closer. I think it takes a little more, less of the sting out where you can get close to making a block like that. So that's 2 free kicks and a corner in this first half that have gone by the wayside for Carnegie Mellon.
Vertal nearly with the takeaway, but it's Schoenwetter who's able to pick up the takeaway. Good pressure by this Carnegie Mellon defense as Meralda drops it back for Harp. Now Schlingeman back with it, looking to control and direct traffic. Schlingeman sends a big leading pass down for Cavan. Cavan, the one that scored the first goal on Friday against Emory, can't settle it down. It's good defense there by number 15, F.A. Eldon.
It's a pretty good distance ball from Schlingeman, because that bounced a little bit too high, but almost Cavan, who had that goal Friday we talked about, Almost got that. That would have been a fantastic job because that was maybe about 15 yards inside his own zone for Diedrich Schlingemann. So we'll keep our eye on that for further future reference in this one.
Moran with the takeaway, but Eldon not able to handle it, and right back comes the Tartans.
A quick throw by Edmonds took advantage of that quick restart. Now they organize from the circle with Harp.
Here's Marolda on the near side. Baugh zigzagging his way around the defense. Schoenwetter settles it down, trying to find an angle. Moves it far side for Edmonds, and Edmonds sends one into the box, punched out by Lupika Tondu. And then Baugh fires one off the head of number 20, Nate Lazara, and it deflects back out for Harp to settle down.
Nate shaking his head after taking that block. Sometimes he's still working there. Lazar, the midfielder. Sometimes playing defense has its rewards, but sometimes you got to expect that too. Good job by Lazar. Great organization, and saw a pretty good save there by Lupika Tonda with a punch out. Lazar is still in there, so he's okay. We're going to get a sub shortly for CMU. William Rabin is set to check in.
Mancini looking to settle it down. Colin Canning pressuring him heavily. As it's Nick Swanger looking to direct traffic. Borchers with a big leading pass. Edmonds racing down for it with Anderson. Edmonds keeps it in play, but Anderson controls, sends it in the box, headed away by Schlingemann. Moran sends one in the box again, headed up, but deflected away by Schlingemann. Again, as Canning got a piece of it. Canning do a tremendous job in the box using that 6'5" frame to his advantage.
That's good by Schlingemann, who comes in at 6'3", but 6'5", the tallest player on the pitch. And you want to try to use that. We'll get a low throw on the near touchline for the Yellow Jackets. Bassick again taking the opportunity down low.
Shot up by Cosentino and then deflected again away as Edmonds making an attempt for it as it went out of bounds, but really nice job by Edmonds to pressure Bassick there as that's lobbed up for Canning and then kicked up and cleared away out of the box as Carnegie Mellon for the moment able to avoid any attacking potential. It's a great leading pass as Vertal looking to try and chip it ahead for himself. Lupika Tondu comes out of his goalpost, and he deflects that one way downfield.
That's a good play for both of those. 9 in the red and black. That's Vertal because he put it into space, but a better read in the teal. I guess we're going to call that today, of Lupika Tondo, because he knew he could get there before Vertal could. He prevented that breakaway. Vertal, of course, the top scorer on the season for CMU. So if you're Rochester, you certainly want to be aware of where he is at all times.
Rabin checks in for Carnegie Mellon, taking out Ethan Vertal.
Yeah, 7 goals on the year for Vertal.
And Vertal having 3 matches this year where he's had 2 goals scored in those 3 matches. So that's a pretty impressive stat line to have, especially if you're not scoring just 1 goal in a match, but 2, and doing it on multiple occasions. As Bassick moves it down the field on the far side.
It's those numbers there that we just talked about, Jack. That puts you on the radar of opponents. Who do we mark? Well, you start with number 9 for CMU, Ethan Vertal.
Cavan causing the turnover, and Rabin picks it up. Carnegie Mellon now looking to counter.
Rabin had an assist on Friday in the win over Emory.
Edmonds drops it back for Mancini. They move it back for Schoenwetter. Brendan Schoenwetter, one of the 2 Schoenwetters on the roster. He has a twin brother, Zach Schoenwetter, both hailing from the Bluegrass State, Kentucky. Cavan scored a goal on Friday, picked up his 3rd marker of the year. That ball sent back down for Canning. Canning in a race with Schlingemann, and Schlingemann heels it away from Canning.
Good play by Schlingemann. Canning got that. I didn't think he would, and he had momentum and speed coming down the left side, but a better job with his back to the defender by Schlingemann. He's been present so far early in this one. As when the 21st minute of play defensively, he's done a good job so far for Carnegie Mellon.
Sarvapalli looking to lead one ahead for Cavan, and then it's kicked away by Bassick momentarily. Bassick and Cosentino playing a little two-man game on the near touchline. A couple subs getting set to check in for Rochester as well. Sarvapalli leads it inside for Rabin. Rabin looking to make something out of nothing, but he's stopped by Moran, and Moran is able to draw the foul against Rabin.
I called him Cosentino earlier. I apologize. It's Cosentino. Trio of substitutions getting ready to check in for Rochester here in this first half. Scoreless. Both teams with one corner. Both teams with one shot, I believe. We remain scoreless. Important UAA. Carnegie Mellon trying to have a great weekend. A couple wins on Friday. Want a couple more wins today in this men's and women's doubleheader.
Yeah, very busy weekend to be at Tartan. Friday, you got soccer and volleyball.
Yeah,
Saturday.
Pick a sport, right?
Pick a sport, and the fall season is a busy time for Carnegie Mellon as Harp clears that one away.
Another win for the football team. I believe there was diving, I think, over the weekend, or swimming and diving, too. You were here for volleyball yesterday. Soccer Friday for us.
So we see subs check in. Santi Ponce Ocampo, as well as Ottman Belsign and Ben Goldberg, all check in for Rochester. It's a throw-in for Rochester. Bassick has the honors, operating on the near touchline. 22-24 to play in the opening half. Bassick with a big throw-in. Canning trying to head it in. Headed up again by Borchers, and then goes out of play wide left of the goalpost.
It's good aerial play. Double header. Just a double header. Put a comma in between that. Not a double header, though we do have one of those today. That's what
I like
you
that.
wanted. That's
Little
what
double entendre there,
yeah,
right?
Yes, absolutely. But they missed the far post, but that's what you want to do. And we've seen Bassick on the throw. That's pretty good. That's pretty good distance he has there. So mark that down for future reference in this one for Rochester, getting those opportunities. Low throws, they're working as almost corner kicks for the Yellow Jackets.
Edmonds streaks down the far side. Rabin drops it back for Harp. Approaching 20 minutes to play in the opening half. Harp changes direction, fires one, it goes just over the goalpost.
Oh, that's a rocket.
As he had Lupika Tondu leaping for that one, and Harp wanting to make a statement on his senior day.
A right-footed rocket from Tyler Harp from distance. And that's it. When you're not on the line, as you shouldn't be, in this case, Lupika Tondo is off of his line because you're playing out, and then you fade back, and that's always a scary moment for a keeper. And that was a rocket, as I mentioned, well struck, just over top of the crossbar, but that's a fantastic opportunity and a good decision by Harp.
And now Carnegie Mellon pinching Rochester deep into their own territory. They try to move it away, but Schoenwetter making sure that that does not come with ease. But last touch off of Rochester, so now Carnegie Mellon again controlling the time of possession, sets up a free throw-in.
Coach Apple, by the way, is in his 19th year as a head coach.
Borchers sliding and making sure that pass to Baugh was not accepted, and then Baugh heads it towards the box. Bassick also heads it towards the box, and then settled down by Goldberg.
And Goldberg realized that Harp, that was right in the space where Harp fired it. We got a delayed offside call there, so I was talking about Chris Apple, the head coach, 4 ECAC titles, 5 UAA championships, 14 tournament appearances as the head coach. He was a former player at Rochester. 260-plus wins overall, 243 of those at Rochester. He caught that bouncing ball, so I expect the same from you, Jack, if it comes up.
I've got my head on a swivel today.
Perch here, okay?
Of course, that's why I've got my binoculars, Bob. I got to make sure I see that ball coming our way. Well, speaking of Chris Apple, 243, 76, and 56 overall in his 21 years at Rochester. And I'm sure being an alum and a former player and coming back and coaching for that same program, that probably means a tremendous amount to an individual, as we see number 24, Tony Hipscher, the goal-scoring leader for Rochester, getting set to check in.
Part of 10 UAA championships. You mentioned his prowess as a player as well, so he's had a great career. We'll talk about Brandon Bowman, who's 9th year, 8th season here. 80 wins now, and 3 tournament appearances as the lead dog, if you will, for Carnegie Mellon.
Schlingeman with lots of real estate in front to operate. Inside of 20 minutes to play in this opening half.
I think I'm thought right, and then looked left, and then fought about right again. That's where they play.
Harp races to the near side for it. Sarvapalli, who's been great in operating with his back to the defense, has it taken away from him. And that ball sent down into no man's land, setting up a goal kick here for Ryan, as we'll see Hipsher check in for Rochester.
Sante. Yeah, I was looking down there just to make sure I got that wrong. Right. Santi Ponce Ocampo, who made that good defensive play.
Alejandro Fernandez for Carnegie Mellon getting set to check in for the Tartans. Leader in assists this season is Fernandez with 5 helpers, 16 total shots, 5 on goal. There's a big ball sent down into Rochester territory as Cosentino drops it back for his goalkeeper. Sarvapalli with tremendous pressure. And that's something that this Carnegie Mellon team really does a nice job of, is pressuring goalkeepers when they have that ball deep into their own territory.
That's a good idea, too. Sometimes you see an attacker or striker forward. That's a good read there by Lupica Tondo on the bouncer. They'll peel off, Jack. And if you can make the keeper make a play, try to force a mistake, no difference. When he's playing the ball with his feet, he's real like a field player. So I like that. I kind of like that attitude or that aggressiveness at all levels in this game.
$17:15 to play in the first half. No score yet in this UAA contest between the Yellow Jackets of Rochester and the Tartans of Carnegie Mellon. Bob Orquist, Jack Ridenour with you all on this beautiful Sunday morning. Still have about 34 minutes until the afternoon, so I have to definitely keep that in mind as Edmonds dancing on the far touchline. Goes around Belsign, tries chipping it in the box. Good defense by Rochester. Here's Schoenwetter, lines and fires, but goes just over the goalpost again. As you would say, Bob, the right-footed rocket, this time coming from Schoenwetter.
Well struck at the 18. Pretty good defensive play there initially by Bassick, but it just kind of left it on a platter. Schoenwetter teed it up and fired it, but that's 2. Harp a few minutes ago, and that one by Schoenwetter. The right-footed rockets over top. Personally, and this is nothing against Jake Cavan, but I mixed them up because I think Jake Cavan and Alejandro Fernandez look alike. And I mixed them up on Friday because of that. Both tall, with the black hair and the beard, so it is Cavan who comes out after scoring the goal on Friday, and Fernandez. It's nice to bring a player with that kind of talent off the bench, and they do that again with Alejandro Fernandez.
Well, you have good reason to think they look alike since they're both listed at the same height at 6'2". Again, a pretty consistent theme, a very tall lineup that this Carnegie Mellon team has.
29 and 20 on a Friday, they were on the far side and couldn't tell the 0 between the 9. Got it down today. And, of course, Coach Bowman helped me out with that 20 in 429 substitution.
Good defense on the far side by Carnegie Mellon. They take it away, and then it's taken right back by Eldon. Make that Goldberg who takes it away. Edmonds and Goldberg both fighting on the far touchline, and referee siding with Carnegie Mellon, setting up a throw-in for the Tartans.
30 minutes into this game so far, neither team with the goal. A couple good opportunities, especially late. The 2 shots, the right foots by Harp and Schoenwetter. Good opportunities. Ryan has made a save. And Del Tondo, I believe, or I keep want to call him Del Tondo, Lupica Tondo. Another save.
Here's Belsign, and Belsign has it stripped free from him by Harp. Good defense by Tyler Harp. Rabin looking to drop it back, but it's taken right back by Nick Swanger.
Just to correct that, no official saves yet for Tondo, Lupica Tondo.
Belshers battling with Fernandez. Rochester does a nice job keeping it in play. Bassick weaving his way around. Move to the middle of the field for Cosentino. Swanger trying to turn away from the defense. Drops it over for Moran. So we see another sub getting set to check in for Rochester. Shrey Perimu.
Yeah, Shrey Perimu, one of the seniors we talked about.
Be a throw in for Carnegie Mellon. Edmonds with the honors. Harp being pressured from behind by Hipsher. No whistle as Harp goes down. Takeaway here. Shot fired. And a one-hopper into the chest of Ryan off the foot of Santi Ponce Ocampo.
They had numbers, too. That was a pretty good strike, too, just at the top of the arc. And a bouncer well played by Ryan. And there's a moment of hesitation. You said no whistle, Jack. So you're anticipating, the players like us anticipating and listening for one. So there's that brief moment of hesitation, but they realized they had numbers. But second save of the first half for Liam Ryan.
Parimu checks in. He takes out Ottman Belsign. Parimu, a senior from Warren, New Jersey, graduated from Watchung Hills Regional High School.
Also played tennis, the computational biology major. It's part of the fall UAA academic team, all academic team in 2020 was Parimu, and then double that up, part of the year in 2021, the UAA, all UAA academic teams. So
there's a potential advantage there for Rabin, but cleared away by Bassick. Good defense by Cole Bassick. Now here's Edmonds on the counterattack. Rabin again, working in the middle of the field. Fernandez darts away from one defender. Gives it to Sarvapalli, met by a double team. He drops it down. Marolda chips it inside, and it goes just past the goalpost.
Well, they tried give and go very nearly. Good little touch from Sarvapalli, Jack. And then you could see that developing on the left goal line. And then Marolda was trying to go back just a little too far out in front of Sarvapalli on the return, or that could have been the game's first goal. But good communication for those two working on the left flank.
Zach Schoenwetter getting set to check in for the Tartans. As Sarvapalli is able to block that shot, or I should say pass, out of bounds. Sets up a throw-in for Rochester from Matt Cosentino. And then now a throw-in coming for Carnegie Mellon, and that issues the sub for the Tartans to come in, and Schoenwetter as he takes out Josh Baugh, one of the seniors, as we've mentioned today.
Yeah, Josh Baugh is also headed to medical school. 46 starts, 8 goals. He's been a player in all 4 of his seasons.
Started 16 of 46 career games.
Biology and psychology major. So Baugh and Shockley are headed to medical school. And I guess we could throw Sarvapalli in that, although different type of medicine. Veterinary medicine. He's going to go to vet school after he graduates.
It's always impressive to hear what these student athletes from Carnegie Mellon will be doing in their lives after sports. Edmonds able to snake through the defense, drops it inside. Schoenwetter has it blocked by Borchers.
He was going to go back to Edmonds. It's good play by Borchers. I didn't look to me like he was looking to the net. He was looking to go back. And a late whistle, much to the dismay of the Tartans bench to our right.
Edmonds getting a little caught up there with the feet with Hipsher on the far touchline. Hipsher, like I mentioned, the goal-scoring leader for Rochester, has 3 scores on the year, 1 helper, 7 total points, 18 shots, 10 of them coming on goal. And the other fact of it is, Bob, that he came off the bench today. So having your leading scorer being able to come off your bench, that's got to be such a nice thing there for Coach Apple.
Indeed. We talked about that, the same situation with Fernandez for CMU. It's nice to bring that production off the bench.
Harp jars it free, and it's taken away by Schoenwetter. Here's Rabin in pursuit. Sarvapalli zigzagging.
Still zigging and zagging. There's the other Schoenwetter of the Twins. Let's get a little twin magic going if you're CMU with Brendan and Zach both on the pitch at the same time. There's Zach.
There's Zach Schoenwetter giving to Sarvapalli, sends it in the box, and it's scored by Alejandro Fernandez. Alejandro Fernandez getting his first goal of the season, and it comes at a pivotal time in this match. Tartans go up 1-0.
Well done. It said it was Schoenwetter in the middle, and then it ended up on the foot of Zach Schoenwetter down the left side. And then a great ball in, and Sarvapalli even a better service right in front. Easy tap in for Alejandro Fernandez, the sophomore, the transfer from Slippery Rock. And that's a beautiful play and a beautiful goal and a beautiful 1-0 lead. That goal coming in the 36th minute.
First goal of the season for Fernandez, his 7th total point, as he had 5 coming into today with the 5 helpers he has on the season.
Definitely hugs for Sarvapalli after that service, who he comes out talking about one of the senior. That's a great pass, great feed, easy tap in, and the 1-0 lead here at home for the Tartans.
That's Sarvapalli's second helper of the season. Picked up his first one on Friday. So Sarvapalli, a player that at times known for his goal-scoring abilities, but over the last few matches, he's been showing off the playmaking ability, getting his teammates involved, and it's clearly starting to pay off for them, especially with how they've been able to play as of recently.
Fantastic touches on that, too. Schoenwetter, and then it ended up with the other Schoenwetter, Brendan, to Zach, and then just 2 quick passes on the right side from Schoenwetter to Sarvapalli to Fernandez, tic-tac-toe in.
Mikey Burke getting set to check in for the Yellow Jackets. Inside of 10 minutes to play in the opening half, Tartans go ahead 1-0. Very similar to how Friday's match started, as it was Jake Cavan that got the party rocking and rolling for the Tartans, getting their first goal scored. Billy Bukavalis notching the other goal. We have not seen Billy Bukavalis much today yet. He's out there now, as he actually has it, in the midfield, and he sends it over for Zach Schoenwetter. So as I say that, Bukavalis must be listening to the broadcast. Here's Schoenwetter with a big burst of speed.
And Meralda on the left side and Rabin closer to him on the right side, but reverses to Schlingeman, who surveys, and they reorganize through the midfield with Harp.
Edmonds, pressured by Hipsher. Hipsher relentlessly playing great defense on Edmonds. Drop it back again for Schlingeman and Mancini to reset. As Bukavalis now has it, operating with a lot of free real estate. Chips it inside the box for Rabin, has it deflected right back to him. Fires a shot that gets partially blocked and then goes out of play.
That's a corner. First play was denied. Good job to read that by Nick Swanger, the junior midfielder with the right foot. Then it comes back to him, but deflects out off of Rochester. Looks like it's going to be Meralda to go to the far flag for the corner, the second corner of the first half for CMU. Got a short option and the long option, as there goes the motion on the near side.
Here's coming from Bukavalis. Bukavalis sends it in the box.
Oh.
Pinballs around, and as Schoenwetter hit the deck, he fired one but goes over the goalpost.
Well, that was Brendan Schoenwetter, but the initial chuckling inside because Zach Schoenwetter, so he starts in the middle, so the corner comes from the far flag. He starts in the middle of the field and then goes circuitously around the defense and then back towards that corner. So he ran about 35 yards, and it was actually his brother. So Zach does the running, and it was Brendan, who missed on that opportunity. But still, good opportunity for CMU. They've had several, and they've got the game's only goal in this first half. You can see that, too, with our cameras, too. It's a lot of good times, too. Like Meralda has made some great runs without the ball in front of us on the left wing. So things we look out for, and hopefully you can pick that up with the camera view here at CMU.
Here's Swanger trying to enter into the box, headed away. And it's tapped back out. Great job by Mancini to sweep that one away.
And that's what you want your center back to do. There's a foul on Fernandez. Mancini, one of the seniors we were talking about. 31 of 36 games started, 2 career goals for Dante Mancini, who is a chemical and biomedical engineering major.
Mancini scored the game winner earlier this year against Brandeis. He's recorded 2 career goals as well as 3 career assists, so I'm sure that one career goal of his that he has, one of the 2, is always going to be one that is very memorable for him.
He's been a starter the last couple of years, but 4-year player, so you like to see those players who've had that experience. And I love to see center backs with that experience, too. That's a pivotal position in my estimation on that back line.
Great job by Fernandez to split the defense, and now here's a collision with Burke as well as Meralda, as Mikey Burke has entered into the match. He took out Hipsher. We have another sub getting set to check in, Ashton Prescott, number 28. Down to about 5 minutes in this opening half. Carnegie Mellon with the only score, thanks in part to Alejandro Fernandez. Fernandez getting his first goal of the season. The throw in deep on the near touch line here for Carnegie Mellon, and Fernandez with it. Drops it back from Morolda, fires it off the body of Swanger, and he still keeps the possession,
Offside.
but an offside whistled against Rochester.
That's almost a fortuitous bounce for the Yellow Jackets. If they stay onside, and that's really, you can't help that when that play is on the near side like that, but that would have been almost a 3-on-2. But goes by the wayside, gives the free kick to the Tartans in their own zone. 41st minute of play here in this first half. Pleasant morning.
A beautiful morning. We really, I know you mentioned it on the broadcast Friday, Bob. We wanted to make sure that we brought that Friday weather with us.
Did.
We did that.
Whoever brought it,
did that.
you or Andrea, whoever else, Coach Bowman, thank you. Love this weather.
Yeah, this is incredibly ideal. We've definitely been treated with fantastic weather so far today as we have the sub for Rochester checking in Ashton Prescott. Prescott, a freshman, hailing from Tokyo, Japan. 5'10", 165, and he takes out number 22, Ben Goldberg, another freshman, as he hails from Evanston, Illinois.
All over the country for these schools. They're well represented, too, academically.
And a whistle coming
late
against
whistle.
Edmonds, as
I think
Edmonds.
it was caught on Zach Schoenwetter. He was the player who got up and wasn't too happy with that late whistle. Edmonds ended up with the ball.
Cosentino sends a big leading pass downfield. Burke comes charging in, and a whistle comes in, and it sets up a free kick here for
Foul
Rochester.
against Moralda.
So Carnegie Mellon starting to get a little aggressive here. It was Rochester that had an awfully aggressive match on Friday. 5 yellow cards issued in that one, and their loss.
I think Jack, the freshman, Mikey Burke, has been really aggressive so far. He's the one who got fouled to create this opportunity. So the free kick, you have 2 Yellow Jackets there, and Swanger and Cosentino. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the left side of the box on this direct kick.
Here's Swanger. Sends it in. Headed up. And Zach Schoenwetter able to clear it away.
Both Schoenwetter. I think Brendan headed that out initially. Several times in this first half we've seen Rochester try to work the aerial game.
There's a very tall lineup in right now for the Tartans.
Several times we've seen
Dietrich
that guy,
Schlingemann.
yeah, Schlingemann deny on the aerial attack.
And Fernandez made a beeline for that ball. I was impressed, Bob. We got a really good vantage point of him making a race and a pursuit for that ball. I didn't know if he was going to get it in play or not, but he almost did.
Love the effort. Love the effort.
Burke with a juggling act sends it down for Prescott. Prescott boxed out by Morolda, and Morolda doing a nice job defensively.
I love the effort. I like that pass by Rochester, but I really like Morolda's defense. That's fantastic positional defense. You just body the man off the ball. You know it's going to go out of bounds and result in a goal kick. Well played by Luke Morolda, the junior from New Jersey.
Minute 36 to play in this opening half. Carnegie Mellon looking to add more to their lead, while Rochester looking to just get on the board. Triple team meets Bukavalis on the near touch line. They drop it back for Dietrich Schlingemann.
Yeah, your scenario of your CMU, you'd love to get a late chance here, but with a minute 15 before halftime, you want to be no worse than going to the break leading 1-0.
Settled down well by Morolda. And then Borchers making sure that his Rochester Yellow Jackets can maintain possession. Down to a minute. Burke, good pass ahead. Settled down by Ponce Ocampo. Ponce Ocampo changing direction. Looking for Burke, but great job by Schlingemann to come darting up from the box to take it away.
Schlingemann, the defender, the junior, he's had a great first half, I think, defensively.
And a little Olay action there from Mikey Burke as he lets it go through his legs. Pretty much allowed for the nutmeg. Now we're down to 27 seconds and counting. Bassick sends it down the far side. Eldon looking to keep it in play. Tapped around. Edmonds bicycles it away.
You used the word nutmeg, and I had a chance to cover high school field hockey championships yesterday. I'm going to pose a question to you here in 8 seconds.
Fernandez working on the far touchline, down to 3 seconds now, and it looks like that is going to do it here for the first half. 1 half in the books, and Carnegie Mellon goes into the break with a 1-0 lead, thanks in part to number 20, Alejandro Fernandez, getting his first goal of the season. I'd love to hear this question.
Here's my question, because I use the term nutmeg in field hockey, then I posed to my partner yesterday. Is that a universal term across all sports?
I think it is. That's what
Okay,
I've been
that's
told.
That's what I thought.
That's what I've been told. I heard the
So
term from my
use it there,
12-year-old brother.
That just reminded me of that, because that's exactly what happened there. So good first half. CMU gets the marker from Fernandez, played well defensively, and again, their focus is on defending the home pitch here. We'll talk more about this when we come back through the break, but also the strength of schedule and that at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. So they're all in play here this afternoon. Nope, still this morning.
Welcome back in here, folks, at Carnegie Mellon University, streaming live through the Carnegie Mellon University Athletics website. Bob Orquist, Jack Ridenauer here with you all for this men's matchup. 1 half of the books, still have another half to go. Tartans lead 1-0, thanks in part to Alejandro Fernandez getting his first goal of the season late in the first half. But, Bob, I know you and I were chatting a little bit off air about the UAA men's standings and how much there is at stake right now. Obviously, no UAA tournament necessarily, so really it's about the at-large bids. Right now, Chicago sitting in first place, 4-0-1 in the conference, 14-0-1 overall, followed by Case Western Reserve in second, NYU third, Wash U is fourth, and then Carnegie Mellon is fifth. Right behind them is Rochester at sixth. So this is a big game for both teams, because the winner of this one could, again, increase their likelihood of potentially making a case for going to the NCAA tournament.
Overall, conference-wise, if Chicago's at Brandeis today, so I believe if Chicago wins, they're going to wrap up that automatic bid. But then you talk about the at-large bigs. Case Western has a pretty good record at 8-3-3 and 3-1-1 in second place. New York as well. But Rochester's right behind CMU at 2-3 for the Tartans, and this is conference-wise at 1-2-2. But if you look at the overall standings, Jack, CMU is the only other team in this conference with multiple or double-digit wins. 14-0-1, so that's great results in 15 matches for Chicago, but 10-3-1, you hope to make it 11-3-1. You hope that, along with your strength of schedule, is enough on the resume for CMU to get thrown into the at-large bid category. There was 4, I believe, last year from the UAA as far as at-large bids, so you hope to snag one of those if you're the Tartans. This second 45 will go a long way. You mentioned it. Fernandez from Servapoli in the 36th minute of play. Carnegie Mellon outshot Rochester in the first half, 7-5. 2 shots on goal for the Yellow Jackets, just 1 on goal for CMU, obviously the goal, so 2 saves for Liam Ryan. Corners in the first half, 2 for the Tartans, 1 for the Yellow Jackets. They were offside, Carnegie Mellon, twice in that first half. Fouls were 7-4 in favor of CMU, and there were no cards, which is maybe refreshing for Rochester since they had 5 of them doled out on Friday against Case Western.
As we're about ready to get this one underway, and we are underway here in the second half of action. Carnegie Mellon looking to secure their 11th victory of the season overall, their 3rd in the conference, while Rochester looking for their 7th overall win and their 2nd in the conference.
Carnegie Mellon trying to, again, stay good at home. They're 5-1 so far in the home pitch. And halfway through, they've done a good job flip-flopping the sides, so the red and black moving left to right, with Ryan to our left, Liam Ryan, and Santino Lupicatondo defending the goal to our right, with the Jackets moving right to left, and here they are on the attack.
Here's a run from Anderson, guarded by Edmonds, and Edmonds able to pry it free. Nice job by Edmonds to just toe poke it away, and it's taken back on the counter by Carnegie Mellon.
Anderson is a junior defender, but at the end of September he was UAA Athlete of the Week, one of the male athletes of the week.
Edmonds also a 4-year starter here for the Tartans. 2-time UAA All-Selection. Last year he earned first-team honors. He's also been a 2-time academic All-District honoree, scoring 4 career goals and 7 career assists. Again, was also honored today for the Senior Day festivities.
Yeah, economics major. He's headed to Arkansas upon graduations to begin working after CMU.
Here's a run coming from Canning. Canning working on the near side, sends it in the box, and Schlingeman whiffs on clearing away. But right in behind Schlingeman there was Marolda, who's able to sweep it away officially.
I think the whiff, and we saw Canning with a good shot in the first half, Jack. I think the whiff for Schlingeman actually worked out. That's one of those situations, if you misplay it even worse than that, then you're looking at a potential own goal situation. So I think that kind of worked in that favor. That's got to be a Rochester foul, don't you think? Yeah, that's the right call.
So foul coming against the Yellow Jackets.
And of course, Mancini got inside of Canning, which if we get the first whistle initially, that's the foul. But it looked like to me Canning threw Mancini down. That's the right whistle and the right call by the officials. We had a chance to chat up a little bit with our game officials at the half.
As Brennan Schoenwetter sends one into the thickets of the defense. And it's poked free there by Bassick. Sent forward by Borchers. High arcing pass.
Thinking back to Friday in that Emory game, Jack, and I think Emory made some good adjustments. They came out and played a pretty good first part of the second half and even getting the game-tying goal before Bukovalis got the eventual game winner. So CMU should keep that in mind, too, here, leading the Jackets 1-0. And there's another Rochester foul, this time on Tyler Moran.
Moran came in a little too aggressively there on Billy Bukovalis. And Bukovalis, one of the goal scorers on Friday in the win against Emory. Picked up his second goal of the season. And Bukovalis now racing around. So it looks like Nate Lazara a little slow to get up off the turf, number 20 in white.
Yeah, that switch, he got tied up with server Paulienfeld on Nate Lazara, who got shaken up by blocking a shot with his head. Looked to me like he's looking at his left leg in that after that collision.
And now Swanger throws a forearm into Bukovalis. He hits the turf, but Swanger with both hands up, palms facing to the sky, and the universal "I'm innocent."
We talked about that on Friday. Right?
Yeah, that's one from your book there, Bob. But the universal "I'm innocent" sign, and obviously referee does not agree with him. So
we got a card,
and we get a card.
That's Swanger, right? Oh, Moran.
It looks like Moran is going to be whistled for the yellow card. Like we said, 5 yellow cards on Friday for this Rochester team.
Yeah, Moran was not one of them against Case Western. So 2 aggressive plays in a row.
Whistle comes in. It looks like
this time it's a CMU foul.
Carnegie Mellon whistled for the foul. Just about 4 minutes into this second half. Not a whole lot of action in the beginning part of the second half, but a lot of action to wrap up the first half with the lone goal scored by Alejandro Fernandez. Carnegie Mellon looking to make it 2 straight victories. One here on home turf Friday against Emory. They had struggled coming into the match. They've been outscored in the month of October 9-4 after outscoring opponents 24-5 in the month of September. Good defense here by the Tardens to take it away. Now Mancini, smothered by a double team, splits it, and he finds Edmonds. Edmonds surveys near the near touchline. Bukovalis being pressured from behind there by Moran, and a whistle comes against Moran. And now Moran as well as Lazara, both very frustrated with the refereeing crew.
Well, they picked up their aggressiveness, especially Moran. He was involved in a couple of those plays, getting the card. He might be getting a seat on the bench.
Here's a shot that goes just over the goalpost as it was inches away from finding itself in the back of the goal from number 22, Billy Bukovalis. Wanted to notch a second straight goal in a second straight match, but couldn't do it, just inches away from it.
3 times we've seen a couple shots, twice in the first half, and that Bukovalis strike.
And here's a takeaway from Edmonds. Edmonds drops it down for Baugh.
Good ball.
Baugh surveying, chips it back for Edmonds, tried spinning it away, but it's pried free by Moran. And now Edmonds is down on the ground, back in the box. No whistle comes.
Moran needs to be careful. He was very nearly. You get fouled in the box, obviously you get the penalty kick, which Carnegie Mellon is looking for number 1 on the year. They haven't had any of those.
As Eldon takes it away, Canning doing a nice job boxing out Mancini. It's arced forward, and Schlingeman and Canning collide. And now Zach Schoenwetter trying to box out Eldon, but referee siding with Rochester. It's a throw-in for the Yellow Jackets as we see.
It is Burke. It's Anderson who comes out, not Moran.
So Mikey Burke checks in for Rochester, takes out Joe Anderson. Sets up a throw-in here for Burke. Burke came late into the first half, played very strong minutes.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought he was really aggressive and created a couple opportunities when he came off the bench.
And Canning comes skying out of nowhere to head it away from Edmonds, but then Edmonds wisely clearing it away. Borchers sends it back downfield, now settled down by Moran. A deep pass into the deep corner for Shanks, and Shanks lobs one up in the box, and it's tipped away by Ryan. Great job by Ryan to get a mid on it.
Look, there were 2 red jerseys and 2 white shirts at that ball, and there was 1 black jersey in the middle. That happened to be Liam Ryan, and he got the left hand on that. Well done for Ryan. That's good play. You make great plays like that as a keeper in traffic. That's a good read. Mentioned it Friday, mentioned it earlier, Jack. Tracking is such a key, and Liam Ryan has shown he's good at
Ball
that.
piercing through the defense as the shot is deflected away, and then Sarvapalli coming up off the rebound has that one cleared out. And they're continuing to pepper the goalkeeper in Lupika Tondu as that one goes wide left.
Yeah, but his teammates coming up for him. Tajan Borchers made the first block, and then Cosentino made the second block. So that's what his teammates are doing, both of them. Good plays on the defender. Borchers, the senior, both seniors actually, keeping the ball off of their keeper. 2 good opportunities, too, because those were both inside the 18-yard box for CMU.
Yes, Rochester defense has done a really nice job at recovering at times.
Sometimes it's a thankless job. That's why I like to point out those defenders, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's similar to, a lineman's job in football.
Sure.
A thankless job that gets no recognition.
Yeah, unfortunately, in that sport, a lot of times we're just mentioning them when they're getting called for a penalty.
Exactly. Got to give them credit where credit's due. It's Brendan Schoenwetter. Finds his brother, Zach Schoenwetter. A little Schoenwetter to Schoenwetter. Pinballs around. Comes firing back out for Brendan Schoenwetter.
I want to assume that has happened a time or 2 in the backyard with the Twins.
Absolutely.
Or the front yard or another pitch they were on, maybe at Kentucky County Day High School.
Here's Zach Schoenwetter crossing it into the box, and a leaping grab made by Lupika Tondu. Wow, oh wow.
Good track, yep.
Look at that beautiful stretch from the junior goalkeeper.
If he doesn't get that, Josh Ball at the far post is there and a chance to make it 2-0. We talked about Ryan tracking well. Fantastic tracking there by the junior, as you said, Lupika Tondu. Reason why he's played every minute so far this year for the Yellow Jackets. That's one of them. You can see that type of play.
Canning really pressuring Ryan, and Ryan narrowly getting it away, but Rochester, again, able to keep it in there, attacking third. Shanks trying to settle it down. Good defense there by Tyler Harp.
They're going to earn a corner. Charlie Shanks does. This will be their second corner.
It looks like Tyler Moran will take it. This Rochester team ranks tied for third in the UAA in corners coming into today with 85. CMU, they've struggled in the corners department this year, sitting in 6th in the conference with 69 coming into today.
I'll give you a note on Tyler Moran after he takes the service at the far flag to our left on this corner.
Moran sends it in, headed away beautifully by Sarvapalli, as that was intended on the backside of the post for Mikey Burke, but Mikey Burke now chips it right into the chest of Ryan and easily snagged by the goalkeeper.
Yeah, that time didn't have to track or well, just followed it, did it cleanly. Tyler Moran, by the way, the note, I was reading this and I had to make sure I read it right. Big East academic all honors, and then figured out he's a transfer from DePaul. Also making me miss the old Big East basketball in these parts.
Oh, don't get me started on Big East basketball there, Bob. That is probably one of the most defining sports leagues, conferences of my childhood. Watching Pitt basketball
yep.
Oh yeah, especially in the Pitt area as Burke comes piercing up.
You're a Maryland native, so you're a little familiar with Georgetown being in the Big East as well.
Georgetown, absolutely. Many battles with the Hoyas as Burke down on the turf. He came up and poked the ball free, but then was hit from behind as he came back on the counter.
He's got a little turf burn and earns a free kick.
And going back to your point about Maryland basketball definitely not the same program it once was when they were in the ACC, now competing in the Big Ten.
Yeah, Pitt, we're talking about the Big East. They've flipped over to the ACC in their programs.
Nick Swanger to take this free kick.
It's a direct kick, too. He's got the support, six right, one left.
Swanger sends it, and it's blocked away by Bukavalis.
Fantastic job by Bukavalis.
The Bukavalis block, and now Bukavalis fighting with number 19, Matt Cosentino, and a whistle comes in from the backfield, and the Carnegie Mellon bench is irate.
Because it's a CMU foul.
It's a CMU foul, and head coach Brandon Bowman is furious with the whistle, as it was a 1v1 battle with both Cosentino as well as Bukavalis, and Bukavalis gets whistled for the foul.
Well, I'm going to say this. If we're talking about ice hockey, I'm calling for an interference penalty there because that was the play, but it works out defensively. That's fantastic stuff, though, by Bukavalis. He makes the block on the free kick and almost turns it in to a breakaway from midfield, but unfortunately he gets whistled for the foul.
Bassick sends it deep into the box. Ryan comes darting out of his goal post to take it away.
I don't have this. Ryan is from the left coast, Sammamish, Washington, and Eastside Prep. Don't know if he played football, but with his tracking, which we talked about Friday and today, Jack, he'd make a good defensive back, don't you think?
Oh, no question. And that is, I think, the most challenging position to play in all of sports. Being a defensive back, having to pretty much play your whole position backwards. Ball tries lifting it ahead, and it's cleared away momentarily. Ball still with it, and then chipped off the inside part of the foot by number 27, Zach Schoenwetter.
Twice they tried to give and go, and it was ball to Schoenwetter. Good defense, but then Schoenwetter stayed there, and ball got back on it and worked the second time, but it sort of got to Zach Schoenwetter too quick, and he couldn't settle it. He just really chipped it with the left foot, but missed it on the near post. Still a good opportunity for the freshman, Zach Schoenwetter.
Santi Ponce Ocampo checks in for Rochester as he takes out Charlie Shanks. And then number 28, Ashton Prescott, will also be getting set to check in for the Yellow Jackets.
That's a soccer name, right? Santi Ponce Ocampo. We talk about that in sports. Sometimes we refer to soccer hair, which I could say Zach Schoenwetter has that going on. There's a good opportunity right side for the Jackets.
Lazara takes it far down, pumps the brakes. Lazara sends it in. Schoenwetter got a foot on it, and now it's cleared away by Zach Schoenwetter.
Yeah,
so both Schoenwetters.
That's good.
And there's Bukavalis in the open field, up ahead to Harp, and running out of space is Harp.
That's at least 3 times we've seen Schoenwetter and Schoenwetter team up. So I wonder if they want to switch their majors. They're mechanical engineering majors. You could be law in there, right? In the law firm of Schoenwetter and Schoenwetter.
It'd be a really good commercial ad, too. Schoenwetter and Schoenwetter will help you.
We'll take the fact that the Twins have done a good job on the pitch here today for CMU, as we're 15 minutes into the second half. Still 1-0, courtesy of the Alejandro Fernandez goal on the
Here's the tagline for the Schoenwetter Law Firm. You're always going to do better when you're here with Schoenwetter.
You got it.
There we go.
See, we're thinking of you.
Mr. and Mrs. Schoenwetter, if you're listening in, maybe you let the gentlemen in Brennan and Zach know. Maybe they decide to change careers, but I don't think so.
Maybe they go and bring their own engineering firm into play.
It could do that.
Schoenwetter and Schoenwetter.
Schoenwetter and Schoenwetter, that's right.
We'll take their play on the pitch today, too. Look at Ryan. Love that gamesmanship. Fakes it. He's going to say, listen, he tells Colin Canning, I'm going to make you run up to me so I can pick this up.
15 minutes elapsing in this second half. 1-0 Tartans lead after a late first half score by Alejandro Fernandez. It was assisted by Kieran Sarvapali as he picked up his second assist of the season. A chase for the 50-50 ball, and it's deflected out of bounds off of Schlingeman.
Yeah, it's Lazara.
So Lazara forcing the corner kick.
The hometown boy returning here to Pittsburgh. There are several more local products when we get to the women's match in the doubleheader this afternoon. Nate, of course, from Fox Chapel, and there's Tyler Moran, the former DePaul player who transfers to Rochester. Again, at that far flag.
Prescott checks in for Rochester as he takes out number 20, Nate Lazara.
Watch Canning, who's 6'5". He's in the middle, right outside the crease, in case there's an aerial ball on this play.
Here it comes from Moran. As it skips past one defender, Prescott, who just checked in, sends one in, and then Schlingeman right there to wall it up.
Both
Another one sent around.
Yeah, both Schlingeman and Mancini. That's a good wall. Absolutely, Jack.
Ball pinballed around, but good job by Carnegie Mellon's defense to stay strong on the corner.
Both corners in this half for
Ball.
the Yellow Jackets, and they've taken the lead 3-2 in that total number in this game.
Harp being chased around. Crosses it over for Edmonds. He settles it down. Here's Zach Schoenwetter. Schoenwetter with a burst of speed sends it in the box for Bukovalis, gives it back to Schoenwetter, and it looks like it's last touch off Rochester.
To me, it looks like it. That'll be a near side corner, near flag corner.
We don't have to sub it. So play.
It looks like Jake Cavan was going to check in, but his head coach, Coach Bowman, does not want the sub to come in.
We don't have to. Why? Why? I didn't ask you to. I did not ask you to wave him on. We said no. I waved him on because he's at the 50. And we said no, it's a corner. No, that's the rule. That's the rule. Billy, you got the rule wrong. Billy, Kieran, you're 10.
So it looks like the sub will be whistled in.
Neither you or I can offer anybody commentary that we just
I took
heard
my
there from
headset
Coach
off and just
Bowman.
pushed it out a little bit further. I said, I'm going to just let the crowd speak for themselves. And it looks like it's Kieran Sarvapalli that will take it.
They put Jake Cavan in.
So Cavan takes out Bukovalis as Sarvapalli lines up the corner. Here it comes. And it's headed, and it's blocked away.
Great save. That's
Great save by Lupika Tondu.
That's Brendan Schoenwetter with a great opportunity. I was thinking as they were setting up for that corner, we're going to get back-to-back ones. Wouldn't it be ironic if Jake Cavan gets in and scores a goal on that sequence, right?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
After the conversation.
Here comes the corner again, and that one's headed away this time by Borchers.
Yeah, good read by Borchers in the middle with the head.
Drop back for Harp. Harp faked out the shot, swings it over for Sarvapalli. Sarvapalli snaking his way around. He sends in a shot, the one-hopper into the chest for Lupika Tondu. And I have to say, Lupika Tondu has been tremendous in between the pipes. There's a reason why he was an all-UAA performer last year.
And a good save at the near post, a great save on that initial header in the corner, and he had that great tracking save earlier, which denied an opportunity at the far post from Ball. So, and again, I mentioned that's why a reason that he's played every minute so far in the season for the Yellow Jackets. Good stuff for the junior from Cypress Bay High School in Florida. Mentioned he was 7-4-4 with 7 shutouts last year, 6-4-4 coming into today's game as for the Yellow Jackets. 6 shutouts, 13 shutouts in 2 years, too. That's pretty good stuff for Lupika Tondu. I did it again.
The double name. Switching it around on you.
How about moving forward for the final 26 and a half minutes? I'm just going to refer to him as Santino.
Okay.
Just to make it easier on myself, folks.
Yeah. I know who you're talking
He
about.
deserves to get credit, though. We're deservedly giving him credit, too. He's kept it 1-0.
Santino Lupika Tondu sporting the teal kit today in goal. It's Canning.
Like the right foot, too. That was pretty good distance on the punt.
Liam Ryan, goalkeeper for Carnegie Mellon, adorning the all-black. And Baugh sends a great chip pass ahead for Zach Schoenwetter, but Schoenwetter couldn't keep up with it, and Lupika Tondu smothers it.
I'm a big fan of both kits today. The all black with the red trim for Ryan and the teal. Both keepers wearing number 0, which is a good number of your keeper, right? You like the clean sheets back there, so you wear the number to represent that. And then we're going to late whistle.
And a whistle coming against Tyler Harp.
Yeah,
he slams his hands on the turf, and now play continues. So they play the advantage. Prescott lines a shot, and it goes wide of the goal. But Harp was very irate with the call, and he's continuing to try and argue his case with the referee.
A little different than the first half. It was fairly clean first half. We've not had happiness at all. Started early with that sequence that ended up in Tyler Moran jacketing a card, and now we had the dispute on the substitution, and dispute on the potential Bucavalis breakaway, and then that harp call, which fortunately the Yellow Jackets, a good shot, but they missed the far post.
Good job by Marolda to come up, take that pass away.
Yeah, there were two Jackets, and they were hesitant, and Marolda was not. And that's a good read by Luke Marolda.
Here's Bassick looking to survey through the defense. Good job there by Brendan Schoenwetter to head it away. And it's last touch off the Yellow Jackets. Joe Anderson for Rochester getting set to check in. Over 20 minutes have surpassed in the second half. Rochester running out of opportunities. Still have plenty of time. Only trailing by 1 goal.
There's Ocampo looking at Schoenwetter. Schoenwetter did a good job. He kind of put the brakes on, downshifted a little bit to draw that foul.
I'm sure at this point, with Carnegie Mellon being a team at times that will play a possession style of soccer, want to try and eat up as much clock as possible. Good thread pass there to Sarvapalli, coming from Mancini. Now Edmonds being sworn by 2 Yellow Jackets, and it's chipped out of play, and it issues a throw in for Rochester. And now we'll see Alejandro Fernandez check in for Carnegie Mellon and Joe Anderson for Rochester.
Josh Ball out. We hope the sequence repeats itself. Alejandro Fernandez came in off the bench in the first half and has the game's only goal. You'd like to see him come in and get his second of the game and second of the year and add an insurance tally for CMU here as we tick down towards 23 minutes remaining in this one.
Things getting fairly aggressive out there. Players grabbing jerseys, pushing, shoving, boxing out.
Yeah, entirely different than we saw in the first half.
Very different.
Maybe it took them a while to get awake since the 11 o'clock kickoff. We're into the afternoon now, so we can officially refer to it as a good afternoon. That's the other good thing we talked about on Friday, being here at the scorer's table.
You can hear all the subs and who they're coming in for.
It makes our job easier, folks.
Oh, it makes our job 10 times easier when we sound 10 times smarter.
Yeah, and see, these players don't realize, in my case.
Here's something that's chipped into the box, but Mancini
said and done.
Gets it away.
There's that center back, that experienced center back. No, and when you're calm at the back line, too, I think that makes such a big difference.
And Swinger sends one in, and it's just grazed off the top of the cranium of Colin Canning.
Yeah, the 6'5" forward.
We have subs checking in for Rochester. It's Shrey Parimu, and then for Carnegie Mellon, Ethan Vertal, the lethal goal scorer for the Tartans.
Yeah, you'd like to bring that off the bench. No surprise here, Jack. Colin Canning at 6'5". Also played basketball in high school, track and field as well, but using that size on the court as well as the pitch. Like Fernandez with the goal, you got Vertal. Again, you just talked about it, the lethal goal scorer. It's nice to come to your bench. And again, you're looking for an insurance tally of your CMU, but Vertal with 7 goals to lead the way. Take that off anyone's foot. We talked about the importance of working for the at-large bid. 1 game remains on the slate for CMU, and that's Case Western, who is the second-place team in the UAA.
Vertal also leads this Carnegie Mellon team in points with 14, shots with 27, and shots on goal with 17. So he's done a little bit of everything this year for the Tartans.
There's the other thing, too, that if you're possessing, that's also a way to play defense when you're protecting the lead. Because if you're at that end, and I'm pointing to my right, folks, because that's where Carnegie Mellon's attacking in the second half, your opponent's not at this end trying to make the tying goal happen. So
they have to expound that much more, or expend much more energy, and it spends up much more time
you make
as
them
well.
Make them go the length of the field,
right,
to work for that. So that's also a way to play good defense. We mentioned a couple substitutions coming in.
William Rabin for Carnegie Mellon takes out Kieran Sarvapalli, while number 20 for Rochester, Nate Lazara, takes out number 5, Mikey Burke. Approaching 20 minutes to play in this second half. pinned deep into their own territory, surveying, looking for some sort of opening. And here's Prescott being chased heavily there by Brendan Schoenwetter. Drop to the near side for Anderson. Anderson sends a slow roller into the box, and it's swept away. Cosentino gives it up over on the far touchline to Moran, and Moran gives it right back to Cosentino. Cosentino fires one off the body, and Diederik Schlingemann spears it back in play, but it sets up a corner kick here for Rochester.
Yeah, Schlingemann really with no room on that right goal line extended to make that play. Did a good job to at least get there and try to deny the corner, but it will be another corner for the Yellow Jackets. This will be their 5th.
It's Moran that takes it.
He's been at that far flag on all 3 here in the second half, all 4 of them, I think.
Ball sent into the box, and then it's cleared away nicely by Ethan Vertal.
That's just a mishit by Lazara, excuse me. Right back on it is Rochester.
Ponce Ocampo and Shrey Parimu playing a 2-man game on the near side, but Parimu's shot goes sailing over the goalpost.
I need you to pick me up here, Jack, because Fernandez and Cavan are both in there. So I already talked about me having the misidentification. You know, what's funny is I had no problem identifying the twins, but the doppelgangers and Fernandez and Cavan.
So twins don't phase you. It's doppelgangers that phase you.
Apparently it is.
That's okay.
Everyone's got a weakness.
That is true.
Mine is pizza parma, just for the record.
Mine is filet mignon. I know that you were talking about that. And
whose isn't, right?
That's true. You didn't save me any. I was really sad. I was looking forward to the little, steak breakfast this morning. It's okay. I'll take a rain check.
Okay, you got it.
I'll take a rain check.
You got it.
That's Cavan and Fernandez, the
right
doppelgangers,
so you're on
right
it.
on cue.
You're on it.
And Cavan botting his way down deep into the far side of the field, sets up the throw-in, and it looks like Vertal is set to take it. And no, he gives it up at the last minute to Marolda.
Let's hold on. Okay.
And it is Marolda. Third time's a charm. We figured it out. For all of you soccer fans and Tartan fans at home, make sure you stick around for the second of our doubleheader here at Carnegie Mellon. Bob Orquist and I will be back on the call for it, starting at around 1:30. Bob will be the play-by-play man. I will be filling in all the blank spaces like this Carnegie Mellon defense has done a nice job of. I'll try to do that in the second match as the Carnegie Mellon University Women's Tartans takes on the Rochester Yellow Jackets women's soccer team.
Also an important match. 17:40 clock is ticking in the second half. Here's the doppelgangers
Fernandez
on the right side.
Gives it over to Cavan and gave it right back, but an errant pass that goes out of play.
Tartans are hoping to make it a great Friday-Sunday weekend. More than halfway through this one. They both won against Emory. Both squads won on Friday against Emory.
Parimu sends a sky ball upwards, continuing to be headed around, and ultimately settled down by Rochester and then taken right back by Rabin. Rabin finds Fernandez, drops it back for Cavan, and Cavan threads it over for Edmonds. Edmonds chips it in the box, and a great job again by Lupika Tondu to extend himself out of the goalpost to come up and take that one away.
There was a defender and an attacker. I think it was Vertal at that far post. Twice we've seen him, he being Lupika Tondo, tracking and serving. Good tackle. Pumped up after making the play as your senior center back, Dante Mancini.
And Mancini, wanting to make a statement on his senior day, did a nice job of prying that ball free from Ponce Ocampo.
There it is, more love for the defenders on the sliding tackle. And out of bounds off of the Yellow Jackets, so it's a throw for CMU. Well done for Dante.
Edmonds to throw in as he sends a good one in, and it's headed back out of play by Bassick. Bassick heads it ahead to Ponce Ocampo, and then it's settled down by Nick Swanger. Good zigzagging move by Matt Cosentino. Moran met by a Tartans double team, but Moran able to survive it.
Good work to break through that double team as well.
Ponce Ocampo settling it down, dribbling with his feet. Little 7v7 battle with Edmonds. Nice touch passing by Rochester. Anderson looking for an alleyway, and it rolls just past the goal. And good job by Ryan to let that one go past him.
Yeah, I saw it all the way. Good job. We had a good view with that, too. Not a bad idea for Joe Anderson. Rip it when you're down 1-0, and stepped into it from about 20, but just missing the near post. Ryan was there either way and then correctly identified it was going wide. Tartans are getting close to ticking this down to 15 minutes remaining. So getting close to the 75th minute of play. Holding on to the 1-0 lead on the Alejandro Fernandez goal in the 36th minute.
Ball deflects off of Mancini. Looks like Ponce Ocampo has his shoelace untied on his left foot, so I'm sure once he gets a break in play, he'll try and address that. A great battle there by Brendan Schoenwetter.
Good effort.
Having 2 Yellow Jackets hounding him.
Crawled on his hands and knees to keep his balance and then was able to use his left foot.
And
And then he gets a
Lazara
block there.
lines up a big shot and is blocked away.
Good job by Brendan Schoenwetter. That's well done. One of those defenders in the back line. Show some love for the D when they earn it here today.
Schlingeman settles it down, moves it downfield. Josh Baugh getting set to check in for the Tartans.
Schlingeman had that great first half defensively for CMU.
Here's Ponce Ocampo.
1-0 lead, all hands on deck protecting this one.
Drops it to Anderson. Anderson has a shot that's sent into the side of Jake Cavan.
Yep. The sophomore from Greenwich, Connecticut.
Anderson again, trying to juke past Cavan. Good job by Cavan to poke that pass free, and then Rabin comes barreling up from behind and takes it away officially. Fernandez, the leading pass to Fertal, but runs out of room.
Fertal's reaction said, listen, I'm fast, but I'm not that fast, Alejandro. That's the right idea, just too far ahead.
Stretched it just a tad too far.
I like their defending. Talk about all hands on deck. All 10 players in the red shirts, all field players for CMU, were back within 20 yards of the goal defending. That's the way to protect the lead.
Here's Moran. Sends a leading pass down for Cosentino, and Cosentino
corner
fires it off of Morolda, so sets up the corner here for Rochester as we approach the 13-minute mark in the second half. 5 corners for Rochester, 4 for the Tartans.
There's a Demon Deacon at the far flag again in the second half, Tyler Moran. He spent a lot of time over there. They've earned all these corners. 4 their 5 in the second half for Rochester.
Here it comes from Moran. Good ball that goes just far of the post as its last touch off of Mancini.
So flip ends, flip sides actually.
So now it's Joe Anderson that
Joe
goes
Anderson
to take
gets
it.
the opportunity. Let's see if I think he's right-footed. Sometimes you'll see the opposite foots play opposite flags on corners.
Josh Baugh checking in for Ethan Vertal, while number 11, Colin Canning, taking out Santi Ponce Ocampo.
Timely substitution, too, bringing the 6'5" striker in on a set piece.
Here it comes from Anderson. Anderson, another very deep corner as Borchers chasing it down. Mancini on his heels, and Mancini prevails and takes it away.
It's saved by Borchers, but Mancini, smart, takes it away, and then they just clear it out of harm's way. So back-to-back corners defended by CMU.
Fernandez drops it. Move it around for Edmonds. Edmonds weaving in and out. Edmonds still dancing. Sends a chipper into the box. Baugh settles it. Baugh being encouraged by his head coach, Bowman, to move the ball. Here's Fernandez. Met by a double team. He sends it into the chest of a Yellow Jacket defender in Cosentino, and it looks like it sets up a big corner here for Carnegie Mellon.
Good work. They did keep it moving. That was really good ball moving that time. I'm chuckling because at the start of that, you could hear Jason Edmonds. He started yelling for that ball on the near flank all the way back in his defensive zone. And he's the one who spearheaded this attack.
Josh Baugh has the honors at the deep corner in the far side of the field. Here it comes from Baugh. A lower shot that gets deflected away and then cleared away by Anderson. But it's controlled by Tyler Harp. Ryan sends it downfield. Bassett comes skying up to head it back over into the Tartan side of the field as it pinballs back and forth around midfield. Ball makes one juking move. Still dazzling. Now he finds Fernandez, and Edmonds sends one sky high. If this was football and that was the goalpost, Bob, I think that would be a good field goal.
He had the right idea, too, because he sized it up, did Jason Edmonds, with his left foot. And he had the right bend, but this too tall. You wanted to try to bend that down inside the far corner, the opposite side, upper 90. Another good opportunity for CMU. They've got this one, protecting this 1-0 lead inside of 10 minutes.
Good job by Mancini to challenge Shrey Parimu there on that 50-50 ball. And then Edmonds somehow able to weasel his way away with the ball and sends a beautiful pass ahead for Fernandez. Fernandez in pursuit, looking to settle it down, gives it over to Rabin, and Rabin has the pass come behind him, and he couldn't quite keep up with it.
Still good opportunity. Really nice job by Fernandez. He used his body to chip that defender being Cole Bassick, to create that. Really, and it was a 2-on-1 for a second, but ended up a 2-on-2, then 2-on-4. So good recovery by Rochester. But you like that play by Alejandro Fernandez to create that opportunity by using his body.
Now Prescott and Harp. The 1v1 battle at the middle of the field.
Harp wins nicely.
Harp getting hip checked at the end of the pass there by Prescott. No whistle. Here's Edmonds. Dazzling, goes in between the legs. Edmonds still with it. Zigzagging, fires, and it's saved by Lupika Tondu. And it sets up a corner.
Yep. You know what? Who was excited about that move more than Jason Edmonds? He got the bench all fired up with that nutmeg.
That was a little razzle-dazzle there.
And a good idea, too. He got inside the box and fired it. Deflected wide of the near post, even though Lupika Tondo would have been there. Now we've got another important corner. We have an injury. Didn't notice that was away from the play.
And Nick Swanger, one of the best players on this Rochester team, was on the turf, but he's up now, moving very gingerly. Seems to be favoring his lower body.
Swanger, the political science major from Fairport, New York. He's got the actually, Swanger is from Centerville. Let me make sure I got this right. He's from Fairport. So Nick Swanger's got the soccer-playing genes. His father, Carlos, and his brothers, Alex and Ben, all played soccer at the University of Rochester. So unfortunately, I have to bring it up when he's limping off. Got a big-time hitch in his giddy-up. Getting that leadership, senior leadership from Jason Edmonds, folks.
Here comes the corner from Kieran Sarvapalli. Into the box. Goes off the head of Fernandez. Cavan settles, turns, and fires it out of the field, literally.
Still a good opportunity.
So we see.
So I love that. Good on you, Jason Edmonds. You heard that. Attacking the bench. We need energy. We need it on the bench. We need it on the field. That's leadership.
Max LeBurn checks in for Rochester, taking out Joe Anderson. And you can tell that Edmonds, a senior, he wants to make a statement in his last season of collegiate soccer, trying to encourage his teammates to have that same type of energy. .7:30 to play in the second half. Tartans lead 1-0. And now some poor passing from Rochester leads to a takeaway. And Fernandez gives it right back. Tyler Moran with the takeaway, but then Sarvapalli comes from behind.
That's nice. Good play. Really good play there to step into that.
The defensive recovery here for Carnegie Mellon, a tremendous asset for them right now.
Look at here, Chris Apple prior to that sequence. Got to be sharper. He was going for a sharper pass, and it wasn't. Carnegie Mellon pounced on both of those. Now they've been able to tick this clock inside of 7 minutes, protecting the 1-0 lead.
It was Ben Goldberg that Had the errant pass go into the feet of Fernandez, but then Fernandez turned it right back over as Moran, trying to find some room on the far side, gives it up there for Cosentino. Now Cosentino lunging and passing, but has it taken away by Mancini.
If not Mancini, Edmonds gets that. They were both made the correct read. A pass a little slower than Rochester would have wanted.
Here's Fernandez as Sarvapalli still on the ground, slow to get up. Fernandez fires and it's blocked by Bassick. Moran boxing out Fernandez, takes it away. Sarvapalli seems to be a little shaken up, but he's moving on his own, so he seems to be all right at the moment.
It's kind of funny. He flipped over, did Kieran Sarvapalli, to watch that play as it proceeded. And I'm thinking, well, if Carnegie Mellon scores, then it hurts less, right?
Absolutely, yeah. At that point, the pain goes away immediately. Winning cures all.
As the
Edmonds
scoring.
has Canning on his heels.
Scoring creates winning.
And then it's taken back away by LeBurn.
I'm done philosophizing today.
How about Bobifizing?
You know, I like it. I'm stealing that. You know what also I like? The play of Dante Mancini again.
He's been great. Him and Tyler Harp, too. I mean, I think they've been really the defensive anchors. And then Diederik Schlingemann, he's kind of the conductor of it all.
All right. Great job by the back line.
Approaching 5 minutes to play. Rochester running out of opportunities. Cole Bassick sends a deep crossing pass that's headed up by Schlingemann.
There's a conductor.
And Parimu boxing out Schlingemann.
That's gotta be
and it's a foul against Parimu.
Yep, on a little bit of a dangerous play. Another good defensive play by Schlingemann.
Schlingemann hails from local Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Went to Winchester Thurston, and funny enough, Bob, I actually play in a men's basketball league that takes place on Sunday evenings at Winchester Thurston.
There you go. I've seen Winchester Thurston, the Bears, and covering high school sports, soccer, and basketball as well. Their girls' basketball team pretty good.
And here's a potential
I
takeaway.
remember Diederik playing back in high school. It's a Tartans foul.
And Fernandez whistled for the foul. LeBurn getting his first bit of action in the match today.
Fresh legs.
And then Prescott and Edmonds get into a little bit of a battle for the free 50-50 ball, and it's out of bounds. Last touch off of Rochester, so Edmonds now with the throw-in on the near touchline.
Max LeBurn, by the way, won back-to-back state titles in his high school days in Delaware. But Fernandez is good with that body. That's twice we've seen it happen right in front of us. Screening out the defender, and here comes the attack.
Sarvapalli with the nifty footwork. Always has his head on a swivel.
See that? Exactly. Good call, Jack. Even though he does end up turning it over. But he was looking, where can I go? Where can I run? Where can I distribute? And he saw that he thought initially he wanted to go to his back line, but he saw there was no room to do that. So he did the right thing. And look, CMU gets a throw in front of their own bench.
An unforced turnover there for the Yellow Jackets as Goldberg and Bassick both not on the same page.
Just for the record, all the players to our right are standing. All the coaches are sitting. They've earned that right. But because Jason Edmonds wanted the energy, we've got it on the bench to our right.
Cavan trying to go around LeBurn, and LeBurn sliding and poking it away.
And we hit the 88th minute on a deep throw.
Thrown from the near touchline for Edmonds. He gets it right back. And now Edmonds just trying to chip it off of a Rochester player to try and set up a corner. LeBurn clears it out of play.
They did it, I think. Can't see now. The problem, it is a corner. The problem with the bench standing is we screened.
It's all right. I might have to take one for the team here and stand up. Sarvapalli will take the corner.
It is a near side corner. So you can, if you're CMU with 2:20 clock turning, keep it in that corner the entire time if you want.
Fernandez pressured by a double team. Tries to get it out.
That might be the mentality, Jack.
Just trying to eat up as much time, play a game of keep away.
It's been in this corner on the near touchline for about a minute or so.
Clock continues to tick. Approaching 2 minutes now to play. Right on cue.
Well, thank you, Coach, for confirming my thoughts.
You might be Coach Bob at the end of the broadcast.
I don't know about that, but every once in a while I manage to get something right.
Edmonds again throwing it deep into the corner. As Rochester just running out of opportunities and chances to try and move the ball downfield.
Bench
Now
loves
approaching
it.
a minute
Yeah,
30.
Get it to 90 seconds.
Rochester finally breaks out of the corner trap that Carnegie Mellon did a wonderful job of pinching them into, eating up a bunch of clock as we're down to about 80 seconds to play. Bassick sends it down. Harp heads it away, still controlled by the Yellow Jackets. The Yellow Jackets swarm down the field, and then Edmonds pokes it free. Ball pinballs around between Edmonds and LeBurn. Sarvapalli looking to control it as we're inside of a minute. Fernandez, the heel pass.
What a great back heel pass.
Here's Edmonds being chased by Prescott. Edmonds just gently chips it into the chest of Lupika Tondu.
Coach Bowman, same thing, should have kept it in the corner instead of firing it. Giving Rochester a chance late. That's well defended, though. Keep it in the middle third or the attacking third of the Tartans.
Final 30 seconds in this match. Tartans lead 1-0. Looking to pick up another big victory, their 11th of the season, and it will be their third in the conference.
And their second of the weekend. 15 seconds away from that happening.
As Harp comes screeching up from behind to poke it free as we're down to our final 8 seconds of this match. Rochester running out of chances and opportunities as Brendan Schoenwetter clears that away. The final seconds tick off the clock, and we have a final here from Carnegie Mellon University as the Tartans prevail and take it 1-0 as they force the Rochester Yellow Jackets to fall to 1-3-2 in the conference and 6-5-4 overall, while Carnegie Mellon moves to 3-3 in the UAA and 11-3-1 overall. Got to say, Bob, this was a big victory for Carnegie Mellon and also comes at a very, I would say, opportune time of the season with the NCAA tournament around around the corner, and then you also have the added aspect that they have one more game next week against Case Western,
which is a big one against the second-place team in the conference, but three-fourths of the way for both of these squads through a great weekend. But we're talking at-large bid because it's pretty evident that got to flip this over that Chicago, especially with a win today, they seal up the conference. But now 11 wins, and you're 6 of 7 at home, so you're defending that pitch as well. But I thought really well played throughout for Carnegie Mellon. Not a lot that I think they can be disappointed about, and they get a goal, Jack, in the 36th minute. Alejandro Fernandez, his first great service from the right side by Sarvapalli, and they made that stand up.
Final score here today from Carnegie Mellon University. Tartans 1, Yellow Jackets 0. Again, as the Carnegie Mellon Tartans move to 11-3-1 overall, 3-3 in the UAA, and Rochester, they fall to 6-5-4 overall and 1-3-2 in the UAA. For everybody that could make this broadcast possible, as always, a big thank you to the wonderful SID, Andrea James, who does a tremendous job at providing us so much wonderful information and also getting us all the proper pronunciations and, at the end of the day, making Bob and I sound very, very intelligent. And for my broadcasting partner and dear friend Bob Orquist, this is Jack Ridenauer signing off here from Carnegie Mellon University. Make sure you stick around for some more Tartan soccer as we'll have the call for the women's matchup coming up at 1:30 as they'll take on the Rochester Yellow Jackets as well. But once again, everyone, thanks so much for joining us today. And we'll have a wonderful call later on today, and we hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.